Wonderful. So, hello to everybody. As was introduced, I'm Toni Mattila, leading the sustainable manufacturing here at Business Finland. As as was described in the introduction, my role here is to to encourage and motivate Finnish industries to transform. My role is to set things going with this transformation. Our organization helps these companies with their transformation, their renewal, creation of new business out of this transition, and I will be talking about this twin transition in sustainability at the industrial perspective. And these are what I'm going to talk briefly is from these talks that I typically provide for our industries to get things going. So this twin transition that I'm referring here is not a digital twin, but it's a reference to the fact that the sustainability in manufacturing in particular has two important challenges. One of them being the economical sustainability, and the other one being the ecological sustainability. Strictly speaking, there is when we talk about sustainability in general, we also talk about societal sustainability, but in the context of industries, we typically tend to focus on these two, and therefore the term twin transition. Twin transition, and particularly the economical sustainability is particularly important for Finland. Finland being a high production cost environment, and our companies have to continuously make sure that they maintain their international competitiveness in particular, and this is why it's the first part of being the economical sustainability is particularly important for our companies. And this provides you a little bit of background to why we are talking about this economical sustainability as being a challenge and needs of transformation. This is not only a Finnish phenomenon, but the productivity growth rate in particular, which drives the growth of businesses, has been stagnating over the past 2 decades. This graph on the right-hand side is taken from the OECD database, shows the annual productivity growth rate in G7 countries and the average of EU. And these are national level numbers. If we extract the manufacturing parts out of it, we are talking about even slightly smaller numbers. But nonetheless, as you can see, in the turn of the century, we were enjoying growth rates well beyond 3%. But now the rate has stagnated to below 1% in average over the past decade. And this, one can say that this is somewhat controversial, since we have been talking about the fourth industrial revolution for quite some time already, at least for the duration of the past decade. And we know that there are many new advances taking place, particularly in the fields of automation and robotics and so forth. But still, it is not showing in the productivity rate growth. And this is why some form of transformation is needed, at least in encouraging companies wider to employ the existing technologies. But also, it is an indication that there has been a lack in the investment of creating new. And this is particularly, we can see that in the corporate R&D investment, level of corporate R&D investments. Those statistics clearly support that observation. And this is why this is particularly important right now. I mentioned already automation and robotics. Those advances have been gained there. I'm not going to go there into detail, but I want to point out something that is perhaps topical for this seminar also, the use of data, because that is something that provides significant growth opportunities in the manufacturing industries in particular, but also in the product process industries as well. The data and utilization of data, value creation from data has transformed already many business sectors. Travel industries, for example, how flights and hotels are distributed was transformed 2 decades ago, and we know how that platform economy in there provided significant efficicionsIes. Similar has happened already with e-commerce, commercial goods trade, but also the mobility today is undergoing this similar transformation with the integration of all the local traffic options into one platform. But still not very little happening in the manufacturing industry. And things presented today, talked by Pasi and Juan already in the past, are in the essence of this necessary transformation in the manufacturing industries. We need to be able to develop ways to provide internal value from data. This is the digital twins of manufacturing are excellent example of this. How to provide value for the operations management of factories. But further thinking from there on, obviously the value can be created for the customers as well. Increasingly, for example, health applications are a good example. How these smart watches and whatever health bands you may have around your fingers, they are merely devices to provide raw information, but the business values in the analysis of that information and the value that this analytics can provide that guide you with your healthier lifestyle. Similar business models are emerging also in industries as well. For example, mobile machinery operators are integrating value-adding components from data to their equipment. For example, forest harvesters, tree harvesters, they collect information from who has cut a tree from where and when and where it is going and how to attach this information to the individual trees. This kind of value services, but also there are opportunities to create values wider than that. If we go back to the manufacturing environment, that it was already indicated in one of the questions, how to provide value from data in the supply chain. This is you could talk about supply chain digital twins or supply chain platforms. Information platforms, but this is an obvious opportunity. And also one further thought from that is the platform economies that I mentioned already in taking in all those travel-related platforms, e-commerce platforms such as Amazon's and whatever you may have. Similar principles can be applied to manufacturing as well in order to for management and creation of a supply chain for any designer. These kind of models enable the fabless production models in the economies. Big opportunities to be achieved there. But all this is related to the growth of productivity. And it would be quite easy if we would have the opportunity to develop our business and industries in this very stable environment, but that's unfortunately not the case. And the development and the events over the past few years have highlighted the importance of resilience in manufacturing. Manufacturing industries have become quite global over the past decades. And this creates several vulnerabilities, as the pandemic, for instance, has highlighted with the shutdown of factories and causing tremendous parts and component shortages. Only reinforced or strengthened by the clogging of a Suez Canal by a freight ship, and also geopolitical conflicts such as the war in Ukraine caused supply disturbances for the automotive industry in the form of supply shortages of the wire harnesses, cable harnesses, and so on and so forth. And only the climate change is only going to increase the risk of any such disturbances due to the droughts, wildfires, floods, and natural disasters like that take place all around the world and disrupt our supply chains. So this is one very important development goal what comes to the economical sustainability of businesses. But then the other sibling of the twin, the environmental sustainability. This is an outtake from the report by the international intergovernmental panel of climate change from their report from summer of last year. And I'm not going to go into detail. I'm just going to point out you a few facts. If you look at the diagram on the right-hand side, the top one, that is an average the temperature global on the surface of the globe in the past 2 decades. And we can see that now the average temperature has risen well above the average level of variation over the past 2,000 years. And lately it has even exceeded the warmest multi-century period in more than 100,000 years. And that's the clearly indication that there is something happening that is not caused by natural effects. And in fact, this report goes into details and shows something, a calculation, a simulation here on the bottom, which looks into the causes of this temperature rise and concludes that it is driven by the greenhouse gas emissions caused by our modern lifestyle. This rise in temperature started quite conveniently at the turn of the first industrial revolution, when the fossil fuels started to be utilized as a primary source of power and energy. And these are the consequences that we are dealing with now. And this is the second need for transformation in the industries. This rise in temperature has risen so far that we cannot stop it anymore. But if we act quickly, we can slow it down. And this is the sense of urgency in this matter. But if we look, of course, this challenge is concerns the entire society, not only industries. And if we look at the sources of global greenhouse emissions, this diagram here on your right hand side, if you look at the industries, you could at the quick glance you might think that okay, industries is responsible only for 5.2% of the global emissions. That's not much, but actually you have to read this carefully and look at that red section under the energy. The energy use of industries is almost 25% of this entire pie. So as a consequence, the industrial contribution to the greenhouse gas emissions is about 30%. And that's already alarming and something that really needs to drive this change. But how does how can industries affect this transformation? Firstly, it's a matter of their own emissions. We have those traditional smokestack industries, such as the steel industry, the cement industry, and the chemical industry. For them, it is a matter of serious concerns because they are significant primary emitters. It's particularly challenging because all these materials, they tend to be very important for the society, particularly the first two ones being important constructional materials. So we cannot replace them easily, but we need to change the processes and reduce their carbon footprint. But for other industries, whatever manufacturing of piece goods, that the primary emissions are may not be the biggest cause, but it is more important for them to focus on the energy efficiency. Juan already talked about the energy optimization in homes, but similar approaches need to be applied in the industries as well. But the challenge is not only the fact that we need to industries need to reduce the amount of energy that they consume, or let's say that the growth needs to be further growth needs to be achieved without increasing the energy usage, but the challenge is also that they need to transform into use of green energies. And the challenge is now there. How do we couple this large, stable demand in industry with varying supply of green energy? And that's something that industries and energy producers have to work together in the near future to solve these issues. These are matters of significant concern. But then even further than that, industries need to also look wider, not only to what is happening within the walls of their factories. A wider approach, the entire supply chain actually is counted into the footprint of a company, as well as the emissions caused in the use of the products. And so therefore, the entire circular economy approach needs to be adopted into the industries. And to what extent these smart manufacturing is in fact sustainable manufacturing the same? So in other words, what role does digitalization play in sustainability? The answer to that in terms of the ecological sustainability are obvious. But if we talk about the economical sustainability are obvious. But if we talk about the ecological sustainability, then it very much depends what is being replaced with the digitalized technologies. And quite often it is the case that automation, if it's being manual operation is being replaced by automation, the carbon footprint is lowered. But we have to be cautious when we apply algorithms, energy-intensive algorithms such as AI in the form of machine vision to support the automation. We very easily may end up tipping to the other side of increasing the carbon footprint of manufacturing, but therefore we need to pay attention to and stay focused on transforming the use of renewable energies. But the last note and final note is that this green transition in manufacturing should not be seen only as a cost item. It is something that companies need to be able to develop competitive advantage from. And it is at the end of the day, it has to be built into their business model. And there are very good signs already from the US, particularly from the ICT sector, that modern consumers today, they do value and appreciate green values in the operation of of companies. They are getting ready to pay a premium to a sustainably manufactured product, to a sustainably produced cloud services, and this is the direction that we need to develop and emphasize and build the future businesses on. Thank you. These are the topics that I wanted to bring to your attention today, and I would be more than happy to answer any questions if you may have.
Thank you so much, Toni. That was very insightful and extremely informative speech. And now we have a short time for the questions. So let's see what there is for you. Let's start from how well are manufacturing companies aware of digital twins right now? Is there an average trend or does it vary a lot?
At least based on the funding proposal that we have had received over the past few years. Digital twin term comes up very frequently. Companies are clearly aware of what digital twins are, how to provide value, but or what kind of value can be achieved. But still, everybody is developing their own solutions and figuring out what is needed and what kind of systems do we need to build around it. So it's definitely a topic that is very actively worked on at the moment.
Thank you. Then we have time for another one. Do you think being greener is enough motivation for manufacturers to invest in new technologies like digital twins right now?
I think it should, and especially I hope that this green transition will take place through natural business and through market forces, meaning that the consumers start, as I already reflected, there is an indication that consumers are ready to pay a premium for sustainably produced items. And but we only have to develop means to prove the sustainability. So sustainability and the calculation of determination of carbon footprint in companies need to develop. But as soon as we get that in place, we get it to the same level as financial reporting is today. And there is active working going on in the reporting practices of carbon footprint. Then it becomes a proven matter and something that companies can build their competitiveness on. But if the market forces are not enough to realize this green transition, there is of course the possibility that it's done through legislation. So I mentioned already these reporting practices are being developed if they are made mandatory, and in the same way as financial reporting is for public companies. It's a different matter and creates a different kind of incentive for companies too. But it's very we have noticed already that it's very effective when a carbon footprint is attached to the corporate image. If that can be a very good incentive to stay clean, so to speak.
So it is matter of carrot and stick. Thank you.
Precise. Thank you for putting it simple.
All right. Thank you, Toni, for answering our question.